My prayer. No person, place, thing, situation, circumstance, suggestion, opinion, or prophecy has any power to either bless or harm me, or to hold me in psychological bondage. God is the one and only divine and omnipotent power of causation and creation. My individuality is the localized expression of God's presence, power, principle, love, and eternal being. I am here in this present moment in order for God to express himself through me. There is no true thought that has ever been thought or ever will be thought that is not presently contained in my one true source, the divine mind of God. I, as an individual expression of divine mind, access all my true thoughts from God. When I think unlimited spiritual thoughts, I manifest and experience courage, faith, goodness, peace, and love. When I think limited unspiritual thoughts, I manifest and experience fear, anxiety, and lack. I realize the quality of my thoughts determines the nature and quality of my experiences. I have come to believe that God is the only power, and he illuminates me through the imagery of my thoughts. He is the light, I am the projector, and the films are the thoughts which I project into the theater of my life. I have a choice as well as a responsibility to God, myself, and others as to what thoughts I access from the inexhaustible reservoir of consciousness known as the divine mind. I can increasingly access higher consciousness as my spiritual understanding blossoms. My intuitive understanding reassures me that my thoughts, my prayers, are the only creative factor in my life. There can be no thought without emotion, and no emotion without reaction. I have a choice of what I think. Therefore, I create my own emotional and physical well-being by constantly focusing my thoughts on the most ideal life I can imagine. I shape my own eternal destiny by what I think in the present moment. When I think of the past, it becomes the present. When I think of the future, it becomes the present. If I'm to do either, I will confine myself to inspiring thoughts, for God's love is as close as my thoughts. I realize my inner world of thought determines my outer conditions, yet I need not allow outer conditions to affect my inner world of thought. My mind is like a mirror. It reflects back what I see and feel in the cinema of my thinking and affects me accordingly. My every thought reverberates throughout my entire being. Focusing upon the uncertainty, confusion, delusion, or the unpleasant images and suggestions of the outer world makes me unhappy, unhealthy, and hinders my ability to receive God's guidance. Meditating upon the great truths of eternal being increasingly opens the aperture between God and myself and results in an ever-increasing flow of divine love, intuition, inspiration, enlightenment, and harmony. My mind becomes composed, authoritative, and empowered by an ever-expanding connection to divine order. My body is able to function ever more perfectly as it is nourished by the peace-filled light of the one divine mind. I experience a blissful feeling of timeless awareness known throughout the ages as the state of grace. In prayer, I do not ask for more love, I ask to be more loving, for it is in giving that I receive. I pray for the ongoing humility to receive love. In doing so, I experience peace, contentment, and the joy of living. I pray for knowledge of His will and my constant desire is to cultivate this wisdom. Therefore, I pray for an understanding heart, in order that I may be increasingly able to awaken to His will. In doing so, I experience the glowing freedom of living in the moment. In doing so, I radiate God's love to others. My most prized possession is the power to choose how I think of any situation. It's not what happens to me, but rather what happens in me as a result of what happens to me. It's what I think about what happens to me that makes the difference between happiness and misery in any given situation. I can choose to see each new trial as an opportunity for spiritual expansion. Does what has befallen me hinder me one bit from being kind, patient, joyful, generous, unselfish, forgiving, sincere, humble, accepting, devoted, loyal, courageous, free-spirited, and from acting with integrity and dignity? Does a supposed misfortune hinder me from possessing all of these qualities, the presence of which enable my nature to continue to become more fully mature as I profit from each new spiritual awakening? This is not misfortune, but to possess the qualities that enable me to accept my trials nobly is good fortune. To be willing to accept my trials nobly is to have faith in God and His infinite wisdom and love for all creation, and to know that He will protect and guide me throughout eternity to the degree I understand this phenomenon to be true.